been a minute. A very nice minute. But a minute nonetheless. Anyway, how about some spaceships and shit? Alright. Last time around, got that fancy thing. Think I still have a mission over at Galatia. Get if I need to wait a little bit before I can do it, or if I can just go pick it up now. The game volume seems to be peaking a little bit louder than it should. 5% should make the difference. Six energy slots, 4 medium universals, 2 large energy. Thinking I left most of my guns back on the rock. You know the one. Not gonna bother outfitting it now then. Gonna head right over there. Actually, colony crisis. Don't have to worry about that for another little bit. Not using any AI cores. Well, maybe I should. Slipstream going somewhere around there. To go straight down. There's a slipstream. Smacking right into these storms. How annoying. Make sure the polarity's alright. Shouldn't have to worry about running out of fuel. Alright, let's get to outfitting the ship. Put a couple of tachyons. Not sure what I want in a medium universal. Ideally, something bursty. Just stick some phase lenses in there. Or I could stick heavy needlers. It's 5 more points per needler. But it's a little bit more range, and it'll help with the shields. Stick some burst lasers in the synergy slots. I know there's better, but I'll just do that for now. And the second set of universals. Could stick more heavy needlers in there. Do that for now. Now I could just copy something I've done before. Or I could try to come up with some wacky new way to run this shit. Base coils would be pretty nice. Don't think the anchor's necessary. Get another 250-ish peak performance time if I put subsystems. Not really sure. Could just go for high point stuff. Build it in to avoid the cost. Well, probably want adaptive phase coils no matter what. Advanced turret gyros being built in would increase the fire rate. Or would it? Increase damage to missiles and fighters, increase damage to smaller ships. Okay, not what I remember it doing. Right, got it mixed up with the armored weapon mounts. That one you build in and it increases the fire rate of everything that's not a missile. Not a huge amount of armor on this though. Don't think expanded magazines is the greatest thing to grab on this. Could make it work, but kinda limits what weapons are useful with it. Be ashamed to build it in now and switch off to something else. Could grab the efficiency overhaul. But I don't think building it in is the best way to use the limited slots. Because the combat readiness, recovery increase, and all that stuff would be the important part. Could do the good old flux distributor. Yeah, I'll do that one. Those and maybe integrated targeting and efficiency. Stick the rest in caps. Definitely not the final configuration, but it's what I'm gonna use for now. Let's give it a test run. Bit of level 5 officers, bunch of S mods, one onslaught. This thing does have some D mods on it right now, but should be able to do this pretty easy. Assuming I haven't completely forgotten how to fly it. Couple of unnecessary hits, but that's fine. Lux is getting pretty high up there. Just keep throwing orbs at him. Now I have the flux advantage. Just have to make use of it now. Feels like this loadout could be better. The only thing is I'm missing the usual favorites. Some anti-armor would definitely come in handy. Not sure which flavor of it. Alright, test run complete. It works, even if it's not all that exciting. Stick some heavy maulers on it. Not very flux efficient though. Just gonna leave it as is. Although, I do want to do another test. This thing's 75 points. Generate a 100 deployment point group. See how this goes. These guys are also all gonna be officers with a bunch of S-mods on each of the ships. Getting fried. Dumps the bombers. Good focus on some easy targets before they're all here. That's a lot of frigates. boost the engines. Probably should have focused down the Sunder first. And the engines are gone again. Dang. Not as good as I thought it was. Okay, Top speed is bad. Would probably also help if I was actually in the pilot seat. Top speed is still kind of bad, but better. Don't have any missiles and don't have any fighters. Just a 15% range reduction. It's probably worth it. Alright, try that exercise again. Not quite the same one, but close enough. Definitely a lot quicker. It's a high energy laser you've got there. Take out the small stuff one by one. That way I don't have to worry about them constantly shooting missiles at my ass. Saved by the rock. Get this guy out of the way. And the fight's basically over. Kinda letting them get away with their plan of trying to pick me to death. And now you. Third time now I've tried to kill you. This time, I won't miss. And there was a carrier around here. Oh, there you are. See how you like it. Alright. Pretty neat. I'm wondering if I wouldn't be better off with some different stuff. I don't think system expertise does terribly much for this thing. Missiles also doesn't really do much for me with the current loadout. Leave it as is for now. Change it later, if I feel like it. Do kinda wanna try with some more anti-armor. Definitely works. Actually, maybe I should go with 4 heavy maulers. Thing is though, if I went with that, I wouldn't have any anti-shield built into this. Other than just, you know, smack him enough with the tachyon lance that it eventually goes down anyway. Nah, I'll keep it like this now. Yeah, this might be not the best of ideas, but gonna retire the automated chips. Well, these two. Just because they keep piling up the S mods and not really worth it at this point. I'll keep the ancient one. Seems to work pretty good. Although feel like I could make it work better, more efficiently. Could give it some heavy armor. It does make use of it. I've already got the armored weapon mount. Integrated targeting a try. Technically it doesn't need it, but that kind of goes for a lot of things. Give it a test run. Smash right into him. Starting to think I might need to stick some anti-armor on here. Yeah, gonna do that. There's assault chain guns. Give it a shot. Probably does good enough in the one-on-one that I don't have to worry about it. The real test is gonna be how long does it survive when it gets absolutely swarmed by small shit. Yeah, it's just kinda tearing him in half now. It works for me. And might as well fully integrate them. Doesn't need the system expertise. The old modulation's not going to be terribly useful. That leaves point defense, target analysis, ordnance expertise. Yeah, nah, those three. More flux is always good. More damage is also always good. Don't have that many point defense weapons. Go with ordnance. And now the other test. It's worth 50 points. Put it up against 120 points worth of no S mods, no D mods, no officers, ludic path. Now in theory, this thing has the capacity to take all of them out. But that's a lot of missiles they're willing to shoot at very close range. There's only so much armor on the ship. It's cutting through him. Getting the shit beat out of him while he's doing it. There goes the right side armor. most of them. Honestly, expected it to do worse. Brave little ship. Alright. Was thinking of trying to fix these up to make them better, but just looking at it, I'm already exhausted of looking at it. Give this guy a couple of rift lenses. Let's see. Put you up against a conquest. Level 5 officer, many S mods. Now, this thing's got a bunch of Omega weapons, so if it does not win, something has gone terribly wrong. And I think I already see what has gone wrong. Just gonna stay at medium range and get pelted, try to run away, vent the flux, and then go back in, repeat the whole dance. In other words, useless. Alright. Already aggressive. Keep those masteries. Same test. Better do well this time. Just sits there getting shot at. I need more than just a good distraction. Get in there. I just had to build in the high scatter amplifiers. This time will be different, I thought. Alright, that's enough disappointment. Revert the changes. Try it again. At least these ones have a little bit of range, so it should turn out better. If not, I might just have to burn the ship. That's working better. Working much better. I still think it could be improved. Needs more damage. More power. Attack laser is 75 damage per second. Flux efficiency of 0.8. This is the portion of the range of beam weapons that is above 200 units by 50%. Affects the base range. So I need a little bit of long range, just so that the ship actually starts to engage at all. Then I could use a little bit more power. Maybe one rift lance. And an unstable injector. Same problem as earlier. Maybe it just needs the right opportunity to get in there. Although the one I just tested against last time didn't have the Mjolnirs, so maybe that's the difference. Because it can just afford to sit there and keep shooting. This guy does not have the option of just sitting there absorbing it all. But maybe that's not a problem with the ship. Maybe it's a problem with the engagement characteristics. Try more tac lasers. Do one test against the Conquest again, and then give it a test against a bunch of small fries. EMP's getting through. Don't like how high the flux is. Alright, tired of watching this. Send it up against 80 points of Paffers. Yeah, that's not looking good. Damn. Kinda sucks in that scenario. Try that again. Still 80 points. Proximity bomb launcher is probably not the best thing it could stick there. but I'm not sure what would be better. Not the best target priority. But at least he's keeping that guy away. Keeps it up like this, and I think he will win. But all they have to do is one missile barrage at the wrong time, and it's over. He's doing a pretty good job. Just starting to think maybe auxiliary thrusters would be pretty good with how often he likes to switch between targets at the wrong time. There's that missile barrage. Eradicator's gone, so there goes a lot of their pressure. Should be easy peasy for him by now. Kinda wish there were more ships with the Orion drive. I know there's this one, the Pepper ship. The other larger one that I remember calling the IKEA wooden stand. It's basically made of wood. That one's pretty neat, only it had more armor. And then there was also, shoot, what's the name of the Dorito flavored one? I know they've got one with the Orion drive. Just forget what it's called. Alright, it's enough of that. Still feel like there's a much better choice than tac lasers. Want to stick the rift lances on there, but the range is just not quite there. Yeah, I'll worry about optimization later. It's good enough. Not to mention I've got these bastards with the high intensity laser on them. Gonna fiddle around with the rest. I'll put these guys away. Could bring a champion back. I'll leave the slots open for now. Refill the fuel. And a bit more crew. Actually, grab a little bit more supplies. I've got a plan. But before I reveal the plan, now seems like a good time to piss. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. With more vodka. Also, I remember which ship it was. The remnant ship with the Orion drive. It was... hotkey's not working. Wasn't it the Nova? Yeah. Has the big ol' absorbent plate on the back. Anyways, as for that plan I had, since the colony's not going to be exploding anytime soon, and I don't have to do any story missions or anything at the moment, I was thinking, how about I go on out there? Out to the abyss. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hey, come on, stick. Don't like those guys being there. I'll worry about it later. Those pirates. Better not be pirates. Damn it. Send in the meatballs. Onslaught. And the oven mitt. Shouldn't have to deploy anything more. Maybe. Probably. Kinda getting surrounded there. They've got all the tools to get out of there, but will they use it? Or will they just get an enemy ship hull stuck on their shield and fling it around? Like a dog with a chew to it. For some reason, they're just kind of gathered up there. Very insistent on the fact that they really want to kill that one guy. Which I get it. Those things are annoying. It's not like the rest of their fleet is up to anything very smart. Give the kill everyone order. No losses. Which shouldn't be surprising, but yeah, I don't know. I complain too much. Alright, that little diversion's complete. Doesn't go quite all the way to the edge. And here we are, the edge. Signals. Perseus 4C9891CB. Just a weird rock. Well, not really weird. Just a rock. Something over there. And it's moving. That's a big group. Looks like one big fabricator and a bunch of small annoying guys. Gonna try my luck. Let's try out this group. Basically same group as the last fight, plus me. They'll have 2 of the D mods. Should be fine. Oven mitt's getting focused. It's kinda just charging in there. Oh shit, he's about to go down. Damn. That was quick. Friggin' carpeting copy pasta. Gotta worry about this guy. He likes to do shit like that. Take him out. Alright, slowly pushing our way back to where I assume the fabricator is. Everyone else seems to be doing fine. Hopefully they are. There's the fabricator. Just have to get rid of his entourage for long enough that we can actually kill it. Oh hey, it's Maniacal. How you doing? Starsector. Now that sounds like the name of a good mod. You know, the thing I just mispronounced. Damn, that is a lot of tiny little particles flying everywhere. And he just took out my engine. Damn you. I really need an automated repair unit. Try to take this guy out. Let's just look at the onslaught, just absolutely tearing these things apart. It's almost like it was designed to do that. Alright. There's a bunch of those hive units behind. All the Anubises seem to be doing alright. Both Furies are right next to each other, for some reason. So I have to take out a couple more of these guys. We can actually attack the Fabricator. Alright, now we just have to keep the pressure on, stop it from recuperating its fleet. Easier said than done. And one of the Furies just exploded. But why? Also, has that always been there? Wasn't supposed to be. Alright. Fabricating more shit right in front of me. The other Fury's gone. Always disappointed with their performance. Always dropping the ball when it matters. Those hive units are really being a pain in the ass. Oh hey, Zeta's here too. How you doing? Yeah, damn. Okay, so surrounding fleet just kind of retreated around me. bit sleepy. That's fine. Been there, done that. Roughly about once a day. Maybe more. Damn, that was a lot of damage right on the nose. Disable those guns. And delete. When did those guys get there? So many fragments. The Anubis I have are starting to lose their combat readiness. The fabricators retreated. Does not bode well. Getting surrounded. Try to take out all those overseer units. Since they're probably the most annoying ones. No probably about it. Skirmish units. That's what they're called. For some reason the name doesn't stick to me until way later. I'll probably forget it again. Alright. The Anubis have been out for too long. Not sure what I'm gonna replace them with. And the engine's gone again. Damn it. Monitors disabled. Combat readiness on the flagship is going down now. Fuck. This whole battle's just kind of falling apart, isn't it? I got to all those overseer units. Okay, the Anubises are gone. Call in. Stick. Still have 64% combat readiness, but it's not gonna last long. Take out what I can over here. Oh hey, another raid. Very exciting. How you doing, Fiat? Assuming that's how that's pronounced. Just in the middle of dealing with a little bit of fret. Alright. It's enough from this. Let the autopilot take over and have a look, see what the onslaught's doing. Gonna raid and run? Yeah. That's the way to do it. Go eat a hamburger. Or 5. Here's the stick. It is 1 a.m. Early over there. Yeah, it's starting to look like I needed more firepower if I wanted to get this done. Great, that's that gone. Now we don't have to worry about the slow-mo all the time. And the last reinforcement I have, the mint. PD on the stick doesn't quite seem to be up to the task. Serial number. And there goes serial number. Called it too early. Not dead yet. Alright. Don't think we're gonna win this one, so I'm going to do the very honorable thing of reloading the last save and trying again. Start with all the big boys. And one meatball. And a little meatball. Alright, time for another 20-minute fight that definitely won't just result in the same thing. At least I got vodka. And they got my engine again. Really being a problem. Stick, how could you fail me in my time of need? Oh. It's already looking worse, but let's keep at it. Damn, these things are annoying. Alright, fuck this. Calling it quit early on that one. Go fight something a bit more manageable. Something over there. A light. Cold light fills the primary display, stark against the abyss. The subtle pulse begs for your attention, yet offers no promise of comfort. After a moment, you consciously pull your eyes from the pitiless sight, centering your attention on your bridge officers to give your next order. Sir, your sensors officer's voice is strained, picking up from the light. They came from out of nowhere. Navigation interrupts. Fleet drive bubble in the red. Instability increasing. Holding. Alert to multiple penetrations. End space fissure detected inside the volume. A pause as the bridge crew takes in the eruption of alerts on their displays. Tactical takes initiative and activates the combat alarm to send all crew to battle stations. Frantic activity from all posts. Chatter between the stations. Coordinating response. Sensors calls over to load in. It's homing in on our active sensor emissions, sir. I know that the choice I make for this is gonna greatly affect what's gonna happen next. I'll take a chill for the first one. Go to maximum emission control. MCOM 00 Alpha. Immediate execute. At your command, the unperceived chorus of a multitude of ship systems and machinery dies down with a deepening sigh into muted quietude. All that remains is the breath and bodies of your bridge crew. A strange assertion of your shared humanity. Backup E-lighting, simple chemical things, provide an eerie glow. A series of dimly pulsing commands illuminate your executive interface. A flock of ardent subsystems ready to awaken from minimum operation at your touch. A hidden blackness feels the brush of a shadow, less than a morsel, unworthy of wakefulness. By some analog of distributed instinct, a few listless tendrils explore this disturbance. This ripple in the darkness behind the night. Bunch of funky stuff. Now the one to watch is the eye. There it is. And that's why you gotta watch it. Let's try to take it out. Nearly. It's getting away. Come on. Not quite enough. You bastards, get off of me. Rest of the fleet's doing alright. Nearly got the maelstrom. Yeah, they got it. That's most of it. Now the rest. Slippery targets. There to go. Got a shrouded thunderhead and a couple of shrouded substrate. Anomalous exotic matter held in semi-stable stasis using makeshift containment units. It is recommended to employ hazardous material handling protocols class 6, 7, 9, and 13. Cursory investigation suggests application in energy protection. And the thunderhead. This self-sustaining action produces massive energy differentials which are periodically discharged towards its, target. I never had said a storm could be evil, but now. Intercepted audio log. Speaker unknown. We'll look for some more of those funky lights. Big sensor reading over there. Ah, bunch of small lights. Cold light fills the view screen, stark against the utter darkness of the hyperspace abyss. It seems to pulse, shifting dimmer and then brighter, following no discernible pattern. It does not flicker like a flame, nor like a failing comm signal, but like something at the edge of your consciousness. It's... You find you're able to anticipate the rhythm, more seen than heard. The dancing light filling your vision. A polite cough from your sensors officer brings you back to the present. Sir. Sensors, what are we looking at? It's an abyssal light, sir. Your sensors officer quickly realizes that this statement is as obvious as it is unilluminating. And you don't know exactly what it is. There's fragmentary pre-collapse data. Some academicians speculate that it might be a spontaneous buildup of dark energy. Maybe. Around a temporary hyperspace quasi-structure. A sort of knot in higher dimensions that alters the physical effects of whatever it is. Catch your ops chief making the spacer hand sign for all seals confirmed safe. A sort of ward against evil. They're not known to be dangerous. Your sensors officer continues, tapping at the console. The drive field should keep us safe. It does appear to be highly unstable. They always are, and they're difficult to properly scan. I think if we tried an active scan or fired off an interdiction pulse, it would collapse. The resulting discharge might allow us to chart local hyperspace topography. And we've got a list of options. Use an active sensor burst and increase sensor range. Use an interdiction pulse to increase burn level. Lasts for a certain number of light years traveled. Larger increased when used near the abyssal light. Ops. Is there a problem? Your ops chief, normally unflappable, almost flinches. Sir. No, sir. You let the silence linger, letting ops know that denial is not enough of an answer. Captain, ops looks at you directly. It's said to be bad luck to meddle with things this deep in hyperspace. Ops stands up straighter. I've no technical opinion. I raised the point only as a matter of crew morale. Mere dockside superstition, I'm sure. Understood. I'll be mindful. Thank you, Chief. Sir, your ops chief says, then turns back to the main display, determined to make nothing more of it. Another planet. Perseus 7C98A17P. Just another rock. Cold and alone. Doesn't seem to be anything out here. Moving on. See a little bit of nebula over there. Go back in deeper. Another signal. Another light. So this time, let's go for option 2. A wait and see. You wait. Alarms are reset. Battle restraints engaged. Activity on the bridge gradually quiets as all officers, crew, and systems reach a state of readiness, even anticipation. Fight or flight. The incursions crawl closer to the center of your display volume, expanding unwaveringly and intentionally. All eyes are on command interfaces, and all attention is on your next order. Battle stations. Go with the same setup as last time. Worked last time, it'll work again, right? So last time, didn't have that big fucker. The Shrouded Maw. When the end comes, as it must soon come, it will be as a yawning abyss, darker than fear, and filled of teeth. It will come to swallow hope. It will. It will come to swallow sin. It will. And the only escape is the path. It is the path. Have a look at the other descriptions. Said the chief was mad when he came back. They did. But he weren't. Not at first, anyway. That's the tragedy, see? It was all them that said he lied that drove him there. Self-stabilizing anomalous incursion. It builds charge as it spins. If our sensors are correct, in many more dimensions than are first apparent. This self-sustaining action produces massive energy differentials, which are periodically discharged towards its target. I'd never have said a storm could be evil, but now. Then the eye. If this interpretation is to be believed, it gives a whole new life, of sorts, to arguments surrounding the cosmic censorship hypothesis. Alright. Whole bunch of mean stuff. Let me just have a quick sip before we get to the fun. Alright. It's not looking at me. One tendril down. nearly got the other one. It's going all in. I'll stick to the eye. Did that one just destroy itself by slamming right into the eye? Because I think it did. So I hear a whole bunch of motor revving happening outside. It's not picking up on the mic. Thankfully. Want to go over there and help with that. But then the eye will be... Oh hey, it's shooting at me. I should do something about that. Get as many tendrils out of the way as possible. Make everything else easier. I'd appreciate if he did not slam into me. We're within range. Might be winning the flux fight. Kind of outnumbered over there. They should be fine. Hurry this up. The onslaught's getting fucked up. The Odyssey's in a bad position. There goes the monitor. And the onslaught. Okay. Send in more meatballs. Gonna need them. It's only slightly terrifying. That Odyssey's totally getting cornered. Any second now. Just did its thing where it spits out a fart cloud at me. Disgusting. There he goes. Now, can we get there in time to save the mint? Don't think we can, but fuck it. Let's try. Yeah, nah, he's toast. Unless if we get there very soon. Nope. Unless. I knew he could do it. Definitely didn't give up 3 separate times. And he's dead. Fuck. Stop getting in the way of my lasers. Trying to kill this thing. Everyone else is doing fine. Just me in the blast zone right now. Focusing on me, I can't focus on everything else. And it's just about dead. Come on, do it. Very successful. Only 340 dudes died. We even got some of them back. Very nice. A shrouded mantle. We can't store energy for, no wait, read that right. Start over. We can't store energy forever in this theoretical pretend plasma. It'll have to go somewhere. Invert the polarity of the flux converters and flicker the drive field. Boom. A gentle bump to local spacetime. By which I mean the ship itself. If it works. Alright. Start making my way back to the colony. Play around with some of that material I just picked up. Actually, I could do that right now. Start with the substrate. You join your technology officer and engineering chief in a small briefing room overlooking the shop bay, dedicated to what has been euphemistically dubbed special salvage. As suited technicians attend to the containment machinery, stepping over coils of tube and wire. A mess of makeshift components were pulled from the common microforged libraries, then torn apart and re-engineered to operate in this unusual, even extraordinary application. Engineering wears a frown, tapping a tripod as they observe the ongoing work. Tech can barely contain their excitement. Sir, they say in unison as at your arrival. So, what is it? Exotic matter, Tech exclaims. Engineering interrupts. Another way of saying, we don't know what it is. And it doesn't act how physics says it should. Technology officer begins again, enthusiasm tempered, somewhat. Obviously, I was about to. Sir, Tech turns to face only you. Perhaps to curb further interruptions. Analysis is preliminary and proceeding. A quick glimpse at the frowning engineering chief. Carefully. All right, I'll ask again. What is it? Your engineering chief makes a show of looking to Tech expectantly, mouth quite intentionally shut. It appears they've had this argument already. As Tech passes a look of consternation back towards your chief engineer. In truth, I could not say exactly. And unfortunately, we're not equipped to perform a full scientific investigation. Clearly, it's part of a product of the hostile force which we bested. But to know what it is, you need a full science team and laboratory facilities to even begin to approach the right questions. To say nothing of answers. Tritacon would probably know, but they'd only care about the weapons application. Galatia Academy would also know, but they'd probably ask me to piss off the hegemony while doing it. Let's go with option 1. Yes, exactly. Tech nods. Although, your engineering chief answers. Yeah, there's something like this in the public archives. The Galatia Academy is supposed to be neutral, but as you know, sir, The hegemony will reach in to put its hands on the controls, so to speak, if it sees something it doesn't like. The hegemony doesn't like disruption, and this. A hand is extended to indicate the contents of the workbay. Tech nods in agreement. The Ministry of Technology Standards would surely seize such specimens. I could not say what they would do with them, but we would not see them ever again. That much is certain. So, Tritachyon then. Tech nods. Yeah, their facilities would be more than able to perform this research. And, a smile. They're likely to pay very well, if what they say is true. And what exactly do they say? Company pays very well indeed for unique specimens, the tech explains. Artifacts, domain tech, xenobiology, anything unknown to the present Persian sector. Anything strange which might demonstrate uncommon principles or serve an unexpected use. So then, is it valuable? Extremely, the tech answers. Exchanging a look with your chief engineer. If the energy output ratio scales as projected, it's dangerous, engineering says. It's almost too easy to build a weapon with this substrate. Imagine if the Paffers. Yes, another Mayraf. Tech interrupts. As with any applied technology, sufficiently powerful, it could. Sir, to answer your query, yes, extremely valuable. Then, is it useful? Or non weapon stuff, I'm assuming. Very. Your technology officer exchanges another look with engineering. In my professional opinion, when stabilized and provoked, it appears to create energy from somewhere else, or transform it, enhance it. The gain is spectacular. Your chief engineer steps forward. That test with the laser cutter would have blown a hole through the hull if, a glance at Tech, if we were not following protocol by using a blast plate backing in the test zone. Look, I did concede you were correct to. The Tech catches your expression and shuts up, putting on a deferential look. Can it be destroyed? Engineering smirks at Tech. It is essentially unstable, if left alone, the Tech admits. Without containment, it will. A pause, searching for the word. Fade away? No. Withdraw. Slowly. The process is non-linear, and appears to accelerate given time. Although it's hard to measure exact terms of mass, volume, or output. It all just becomes less. And then the question everyone wanted to know, can it be weaponized? The Tech looks to engineering, who can barely suppress a grin despite a previous area of skepticism. Your chief engineer nods and flips a tripod around. It's pretty simple, sir. Scale up the testing rig using modified common equipment to produce outputs in the combat application range. A robust chassis is not difficult. We're already equipped to repair modular components of most weapon systems using microforged components and existing supply stocks. They pause, looking into the work bays once more. The key in this substrate. It provides the core, the amplification, the transformation. The Tech speaks up. Using sensor data, recorded during our encounter with the hostile entities. We believe it is possible to reliably reproduce certain effects which have been observed. The schematics scrolling before you are complex, but you recognize the conduits and capacitors common to energy weapon mounts, and something strange at the center of each design. Some beating heart, which does not belong within these human creations. You trust your officers enough not to ask if the projected power outputs are in error. You've already seen what these things are capable of. So, show me what you can do. Sir, they say once more in unison. Select weapons to assemble. There's the Abyssal Glare, Rift Lightning, Pseudoparticle Jet, Hungering Rift, and Inimical Emanation. Each with a long description to read. Let me have another sip. Alright, let's start at the bottom. The small energy weapon. The inverted ratio of baryogenesis, or shall we say, anti-baryogenesis, is among the more provocative qualities of the device. However, one suspects that management will be disinclined to appreciate the implications in light of the assessed firepower. Intercept from Redacted. So it's a suppression/point defense system. Fires at the nearest target close to the weapon's current facing, able to target phased ships. Always hits, and targets weapons and engines on ships. Hits on hull or armor cause weapon and engine repairs to take 2 times longer, for 5 seconds. Not very flux efficient, but it's a suppression weapon that never misses. And the range isn't terrible. 10 ordnance points, however. Pretty expensive. Hungering Rift. Sin feeds upon sin. Evil feeds upon evil. Ever fattening upon itself until naught of the souls remain. Selection from the archives of Holy Inquisition, Hesperus. The synergy weapon counts as a missile for stat modifiers. When impacting hull or armor, heals one of the Shrouded Dweller projections on the battlefield for 1,000 points. That's a lot of points. And also this one's got a special restriction to it. A poorly understood property inherent to space-time inhibits the formation of more than 10 total active rifts for all weapons on the battlefield. This limitation does not apply to the Shrouded Dweller. And the pseudo-particle jet. If our particle accelerators could do that, it'd be like peeking into the mind of God. Intercept Redacted. I think these were the flamethrower things they were using on me. An anti-shield, hybrid weapon, burst size of 6, refined delay of 0.3. More flux efficient than the other thing. Not as much as the Hungering Rift, though. Then there's Rift Lightning. And so did Raph fall like a thunderbolt, and the blow was felt by all of the faithful. and by all of the unbelievers in the firmament. All then were a murmur, near and far, and all did say, Did you not hear a great shout of anger? But none could name its word, nor repeat it. The Book of Lud, Visions 7:7. Fires an EMP arc at the target and opens a rift that deals damage in an area around the point of impact. The arc may miss, depending on exactly where the weapon is pointing, and can pass over friendly ships. Range of 600, pretty flux efficient, and it has EMP damage. Seems pretty good. Only downside is ordnance points 20. And then Abyssal Glare. A gamma ray burst preceded the discharge of unprecedented stream of, we must admit, EM sensors could not penetrate the plasma sheath, and the gravimetric suit could not be calibrated under... Yes, of course. My apologies. The physics team speculates ejecta is a stream of near-sea charged matter-antimatter, pseudoparticles annihilating in situ, in a controlled or perhaps semi-stable vortex. Baryonic asymmetry is unusual, to say the least. Intercept redacted. Produces an explosion that deals up to 100 points of energy damage to all nearby targets, including the one being hit by the beam. 800 range, relatively flux efficient. And it does do EMP. Cost 30 ordnance points though. I'm gonna cut to the chase. I know exactly what I want. Or hungering rivs. I'll let you guess where I'm gonna stick 'em. Then let's look at the other things. Starting with Shrouded Thunderhead. You find your technology officer and chief engineer in deep discussion over one of the unusual specimens held in Special Salvage Bay. Tech is spinning a dazzlingly complex holo mock-up, filled with arcing lines and arcane symbols. A cloud of the exotic material could be held within a sort of flickered hyperspace gradient, theoretically. It would build up charge as outgoing projectiles traverse the imbued field gradient, and, theoretically, that extra charge could be sustained, then directed at nearby hostiles. Theoretically, engineering's arms are crossed below a very skeptical look. To operate during combat, modifications would have to be made. Shield emitters, drive field, inertial suppression. I'll need to perform some tests. Engineering finally notices you observing their talk and stands to attention. With your approval, sir. You consider the undeniable possibility that the Ludic faith would view any use of this technology as literally demonic. You could be declared a heretical outlaw and hunted by the Knights of Lud and Ludic Path alike. Acquired Hull Mod, Shrouded Thunderhead. Submit a combined report. Will proceed. Theoretically. And then the Shrouded Mantle. You find your technology officer and chief engineer in another discussion over one of the unusual specimens held in the Special Salvage Bay. Engineering is frowning, manipulating a diagram of a ship, with abrupt flakes at the interface. They have to be anchored to the flux grid. Only way to keep it wrapped close enough to the hull geometry. Precisely, Tech says. To keep the exotic material from diminishing, it will draw energy from incoming projectiles, storing it in the, metaplasma. Engineering snorts dismissively. Barely a working term, Tech says defensively. We can't store energy forever in this theoretical pretend plasma, engineering says. It'll have to go somewhere. Invert the polarity of the flux converters and flicker the drive field. Boom. A gentle bump to local spacetime. Tech looks self-satisfied. By which I mean the ship itself. You hope it's a gentle bump. Engineering frowns, putting up Agrav inertial suppression timing charts. If it works. It'll work, Tech says. Remember last time? Prove it. I want a full proposal and testing schedule by end of shift. Both jump to attention, having been so involved in their argument that neither noticed your approach. Sir, yes sir, they say, saluting. You consider the undeniable possibility that the Ludic Fave would be blah 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 very pissed off. We can now do Shrouded Mantle. Alright. Back to base. Get blinged out with some demon tech. What's that over there? Another planet. I'll pass for now. Another one over there. More and more of them. Alright, I'll go for this one. At the relic. Your fleet approaches at the relic ship. The relic Apogee-class cruiser, drifting through space. It's battered, though determining whether it's recoverable or not will require closer examination. Let me have another sip. Alright. This hull is damaged, but through the scars of impacts and stripped armor, your sensors officer recognizes the crest of the Galatia Academy. This expedition was lightly and inconspicuously armed, enough to discourage casual piracy, while not offending the official neutrality of the Academy. Perhaps this was not enough. Salvage repeaters, a common feature of high-risk Academy probes and expeditions, which promises a reward for return of data, are all dead. Manually disabled, overloaded, and fused or even smashed with hand tools. From the looks of it. Clearly, someone did not want them transmitting their message, or any message, in this place. The expedition's equipment is not the best money can buy, but the sensor suites and detector arrays were obviously lovingly modified and maintained. What's left of them, anyway. They're torn apart, twisted and burnt into jagged blocks. Shielded data cores are recovered by salver teams and returned for analysis in the signal quarantine vault, kept for this particular purpose. Does not take long for your tech officer to report results. Report. Judging from logs and fabrication tags, the expedition dates to circa cycle 176. Your tech officer says. This was the flagship of a small flotilla. The rest were lost. Someone tried to erase all records. Forge reset. So, There's nothing? Not quite. Your tech officer suppresses a sly grin. There's simple deletion and there's systematic erasure done to ensure that data recovery is effectively impossible. Whoever did this was not proficient enough to do the latter. Let's find out what happened. Data streams are painstakingly recovered. The high-interest combat logs prioritized by your tech. Or techs. The data's lossy, and the gaps must be filled by algorithms which, used improperly, have a reputation for confidently asserting false results. Nonetheless, you see the black of the abyss, and the cluster of lights and icons signifying the Galatia Expedition's flotilla. The view is highly abstract, a reconstruction of a visualization necessary in not only hyperspace, but the uncertain depths of the abyss. You speed the stream forward to the point where everything goes wrong. The fleet approaches an abyssal light, a glow in the simulated display, a foggy illumination which somehow captures the cold and solipsistic loneliness of the veil beyond deep space. Flagship comms hum with excited academicians eager to finally perform their experiment after long weeks of boredom. The flotilla's hyperspace bubble ripples, then strains under an impossible force. Anomalous sensor readings are tagged den. An error pops up from your own software. Extreme unreliability. Output may not reflect accurate reconstruction of data. Continue. E. Display is full of red icons, jagged warnings vectoring towards elements of the flotilla. The chief academician orders a full sensor burst, max power, using the integrated suit of the entire flotilla. There's a flash as EM surges, and gravimetrics pulse, hyperwave Doppler, Afferton resonators. Another error. Interrupt. Insufficient data. Continue to next viable reconstruction. Continue. The feed is degraded, patchy. The flotilla is gone. Only the flagship remains. Panicked voices on ship comms in retreat from its previous course. The timeline shows a halting record of desperate damage repairs, and the crew's slow realization that they cannot make it back to civilized space. It's a death spiral known and feared by all spacer crews. Systems break down, fuel and supplies dwindle, morale breaks down, then discipline, and unravels faster than usual with so many civilians. You shut it off. Just a small pile of supplies now. Not really picking up anything nearby. Continue on back. And help but notice the colony's slowly been losing money. Well, the colony's in the positive, but I probably have too many officers. Again. It'll take a pretty damn long time before I actually run out of cash, though, so shouldn't have to worry about it. Also, I definitely should go for the slipstream. Alright. Got this thing outfitted. $18 points. Just short on points. Downgrade some of the PD. Maybe downgrade all of the PD. Stick the rest of the points into the capacitors. Let's give it another test. Very good damage output. Very nice. Now, how about the Paffer test? 120. Generate group. It's a lot of eradicators. Kinda getting swarmed. Only kind of. So I'm not sure what I pressed, but I can't see the outline for the weapon range now. Taking a lot of hits, but so were they. We may not have purple orb, but we do have red orb. I want to kill those fucking gremlins so bad. You specifically. One down. Two down. And he's... Oh, it looked like it was getting flung away for a second. Just me, you, and the orbs. Easy peasy. Alright. How about I start retrofitting some other stuff? Don't need missiles anymore. At least not medium missiles. One thing I could do, maybe I should do, I forget which one is which, so let's just read the descriptions again. Shrouded mantle. Ship will attempt to recoil, hopefully away from danger, when taking substantial hull damage. Crew casualties increased by 50%. Not that one. The Shrouded Thunderhead fires rift lightning bolts at location recently hit by the ship's weapons. The amount of damage and the flux generated depend on the size of the ship and the hull mod it's installed on. Or, no, I said that wrong. Depends on the size of the ship the hull mod is installed on. So, bigger ship, more effect. The probability of a bolt being fired increases with the number of hits landed over the previous 5 seconds. Bolts are not triggered by weapons dealing soft flux damage, however, such as beams. Well, other than the point defense, this one is no beams. How many points was that? 25. I've only got... no wait. I only have one Shrouded Mantle, but I have 3 Thunderheads. Stick one of them on here. This one's got the Reality Disruptor. Doesn't really work with beam weapons. So either I give this one a plasma cannon or I just don't bother with the Thunderhead on this one. Try the plasma cannon. Let's give it a test run. Against 100 points worth of Pathers. See how it goes. Not gonna lie, doesn't seem terribly effective. The Thunderhead, that is. Plasma cannon is definitely dealing damage. smacking the shit out of that guy. Well, can't say it doesn't work. And I cleaned up these guys real easy. Let's give the same test to the other one. Not quite even odds. This one's got 2 eradicators rather than 1. But I also think it's a better loadout, so let's see if I'm right. Shields are down. Oh, good. But it's, seems to be working. I'm gonna call that one a complete. Why do I have the setup so different between these two again? It doesn't matter. Could add the Thunderhead to this guy, but he already kind of maxes out the flux anyway. This one uses nothing but beams, so it'd be kind of pointless. Give this guy the suppressor. And hardened systems. Gonna give him all spark fighters rather than the lugs. Just to save a little bit more on what's the term? Not deployment points. Ordnance points. Yeah, that's the one. This one has the rift torpedo. out of unique weapons. Stick a tachyon on this one. Right. And also hardened subsystems. And give it a lance too. Why not? Not all that impressed by the performance on these last time. Let him keep the cryoblasters. Couple attack lasers. And maybe regular PDs on the sides. Actually, a full set. And I might as well give it a test run. Just to make sure I didn't do something horrifically stupid. Which I probably did. Anyway. Mirror match. To be losing. Although to be fair, these ships don't have any officers on board, and the other one does. Maybe I should have him optimized for just being annoying and durable, rather than actually damaging. A distraction, if you will. Not quite sure what to give him. Graviton and ion beam usually works. Give him the front-facing shield. Wherever it is. There it is. Alright. Hopefully, that will work better. Now that I've got a bunch of missiles, should stick it on something. Something that could make use of those. Maybe that's how I should have this one outfitted. Make it a missile ship. Get all the resonators. It's a lot of points. And now I think about it, the way the resonators work is pretty similar to a charge-based weapon. So this would not be the ship to stick them on. Back to the drawing board. This one's already kind of set up in a way I like, so I don't want to fuck with it. Already got all the S mods into the Anubis. Seems like I need a new ship. Maybe an Aurora. It's only got the 2 missile slots though. The Anubis has 2 universals. Is there anything in the blueprint that I have? Pegasus definitely has enough room. Well, not really. It only has 2 medium hybrids. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Instead of having all 3 of them on the same ship, I should have them spread out. Like, say, 2 of them on this ship here. Have anyone with missile spec? This one has it, but not in the right ship. The Rift torpedo does count as a missile. Not anywhere near enough points, however. Not without giving up on a bunch of other stuff. I guess I don't really need an integrated targeting unit on a missile boat. Probably also have ECCM on here. Give it a test run. Athletic path. 40 points. And maybe 60. Alright, go fuck him up. Very nice splash damage on the Rift torpedo. This gotta be both the jankiest and most useful Anubis I've made so far. I like it. Now that I think about it, maybe I'd be best spreading each of those resonators across a bunch of different ships. You do get the most bonuses from missile modifiers too. How big is this bonus? 100% more capacity, 25% more missile hit points, 25% rate of fire. Oh, none of that super important, although helpful. But the big one, 25% more missile weapon ammo regeneration rate. Only for missiles that regenerate ammo. And then 10% more damage. I think this is a pretty ideal setup. Let's give you a proper name. Let's think. Not feeling particularly creative. Yet despite that, I can't think of a dumb name to give it. I'm gonna call it Metal Pipe. Good enough for me. Alright, now let's do a simulated fleet battle against remnants. 240 points of it. Some mods, some cores. Generate group, deploy. I'll leave a serial number. Bring the stuff I modified. Some of it anyway. Alright, that's what I probably should have done. Slapped a repair unit onto this ship. So I'm definitely gonna get my ass killed if the engine keeps getting cut out every time someone hits me with EMP. Which happens a lot, as it turns out. Hungering Torpedoes, or Hungering Rift. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's very well balanced. Please don't change it. One of the Odysseys got fucked. Wish I could have gotten a closer look at it. As it went down, that is. A lot of red orbs. Alright. Say that. Definitely a better fleet than what I started this stream with. Maybe I'm wrong. I wouldn't be the one to know. And anyways. Think I've been going long enough. Gonna leave it at that for today. Thanks again to the raiders and the people in the raids. Always appreciate people sticking around to listen to me say stupid things. Sometimes I get to learn something. And anyways, rambling at this point. Gotta get going. Hopefully that was a good stream. See ya.